So proof of process case study number two, and the installation procedure for yet another project that we did. There's many projects, so we can always find one for you. This is an educational video. Again, for those of you who are engineers or people that want more details, we're happy to provide that. This is just a simple scenario for all of our partners and clients. So the installation procedure on this one, the following is a presentation example of a partnership installation, the complete water system or box. This again was for a seaside resort that we did. The capacity again was similar to the other one, but we always give another twist. What's interesting on this is we wanted to show it on site and location. The feed water source was a clean seawater from a seawell. Although that's not what we always do, this is a great example of how we did as a full public, a private partnership, and we'll explain that in detail. So this was less than 500 parts per million of total dissolved solids. So that means it's the World Health Organization standard, which means it's drinking water. It was brought from the ocean and sea by a seaside resort and was isolated and off the grid. Note, we suggested selling the excess water to a micro-bottling plant. So they used the wastewater for their garden, a mini farm for their resort, or gray water that they were able to do. But they sold the excess water to a mini micro-bottling plant in the area. So they weren't creating any competition. They actually were using their excess or quote unquote wastewater or items they weren't able to use. We told them to use their systems to the max and sell it. And actually, by all of those other little ventures, it paid for itself. So they basically got free water. And remember, this isn't for everything or everyone, but it's a great idea or plan that you can maybe use. So the 300 cubic meter a day plant was like this. It was installed in a 20-foot sea container by a simple actual system, as you can see, produced potable water on location. So it's delivered. The installation site was prepped. As you can see, there's 3 hoses. There's another hose just on the left side of the screen there, as you can see. And that was for the water coming in. And there's electricity. That was on the far right side. So that's how it comes in. Came in on the actual 20-foot sea container. It was painted. They put a logo. Originally was the plan, but then they decided just to have it installed and covered by the actual walls and protected. In this way, if a hurricane or anything came by, it was well secured. The front door had access, so that's why it was literally dropped in or a plug and play. Okay, so the truck arrived, the 20-foot sea container arrived at the resort at 8 a.m. And there is a timestamp for a reason, and you'll see. Of course, it came fully tested, prepped, all arranged, and delivered. So these are very heavy units, so it's not a simple crane. It's normally a larger crane. Forklifts can do this on either side, but as you saw with their location there, it had to be craned in on purpose, which is great in tropical climates that could be hurricanes, typhoons, even tornadoes, to make sure it's protected. The crane conductor moved the containerized plant from the truck towards its permanent location. Now it can be moved, as you saw it moved in, it can be moved out, and that was done at 9 a.m. So you can see they loaded it down. That's one of my partners there. Plant installation site was at 9:15. Everyone was on time, so it was great. And it's put in for a plug and play application with the actual generator on the actual side. Lowered in position, took about 10 minutes, 9:25 a.m. As you can see, always 2 people, very safe. They're standard sea containers, so crane operators know how to do that. That's why there's the 4 points on the top. It was set in its permanent location by 9:50. So this is our actual system. This was the inside. This is development. And it's ready for the technician to commission. Now, the technicians we have trained and operated, a lot of technicians have to just be plumbers or electricians, but we walk via site. So one of the things times they say, we don't want to have all your people come down. We always encourage that, but sometimes we can do that. And luckily with the technology right now we have of Zoom, Skype, WeChat, WhatsApp, we're great. So local operators and maintenance and technicians are there. We prefer having local people. And again, you need a plumber, you need an electrician, anything else more than that, you've got our full support staff team. That can be done virtually or someone on site within 48 hours, 72, depending on where you are for travel. So one of the great pieces here is this is the actual system. We can send you all of the schematics and drawings that this fits for you. As you can see, it's a double reverse osmosis system. It just so happens, folks, that this one worked out to be, again, 70 cents per cubic meter. That's not always the case. We always have to stress that. But that's what this happened for this and our first example. The third one will definitely be different. But we want to show you a close-up view. We wanted to more show that this was a pure private venture, but we did have a public component where we were selling bottled water, helping out a local mini farm. And I always say we because we're partners, but it was them. And this was, like most of our systems, over redundant, extra filtration on purpose, because again, this is water, it's going in people, so we always want to make sure. This was doing 300 cubic meters per day, high quality potable water. And as we said, we showed them creative ways to make excess money or support on the side. This is another view. This is another one that we did in another island resort. This is 250 cubic meters per day. So as you can see the difference back and forth by just the amount of membranes or how it's set up. But we wanted to show you another example on this too. It's the same 20-foot sea container. So there's a lot of sunk costs. So putting that extra 50 cubic meters a day sometimes makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. So that's the end of our second case study.